So this was 2020. I'm not going to read from any of it. There's just somebody, there's a doctor in here I want to touch on. I want to tell you more about him. He shaped much of psychiatry in many ways, but so did others. And I've said for like 4 years now, if the roots go to something dark, then what it'll continue to produce is something dark. It's just the way it is. People don't have to believe that. The higher educated, of course, would not believe me on that, but that's the reason why we don't have solutions. So this is from Psychology Today. You can go and find it. This was a psychologist that wrote this. U.S. government mind control experiments, hypnosis, LSD, and the Unabomber. Yes, the Unabomber, well, he relates back to the Harvard University study. Yes, the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, he was a genius. He was. So he was at Harvard like when he was 15. Yeah, and so he got pressured, because that's, I guess, what how Harvard does their mind control brainwashing studies. And that's what this all revolves around, because God forbid the military-industrial complex is so afraid. No, China does brainwashing, so we have to know how to do it. I think they're all just sick people, like they're just really twisted that do this stuff to people. And then when you have these people that are praised in the health, in the are looked at as some sort of pioneers, then this is how you get to know good results. So you have to have some ethical people. Unfortunately, the people that head up all these associations are not. American Psychiatric Association came before American Medical Association. It did. It pretty much shaped American Medical Association. Yeah. So I'll tell you about a specific doctor I'm going to get into in a minute, but you can look this up. It's a 2020 article. He goes into just a few of the things of why people should be paranoid of their government because of the history. So, everybody, forever in mental health has thought, oh, yeah, he's talking about, the government doing this and that. Well, look at the history. So who's really crazy? The person that's saying that person's not right in the head, or is what that person's saying true? That's kind of what he says. You really don't know, and I've read other articles like that. Because given the amount of psychiatrists, medical professionals with the CIA and the military that were all involved over the years doing this, yeah, you have to wonder. I also wanted to show this before I get on to mentioning this other doctor that was very much with the CIA and was a psychiatrist. Yeah, so this 2019 Harvard University, scientists are blurring the distinction between brain and machine, designing nanoelectronics that look, move, and feel like real neurons camouflaged in the brain. This technology could offer a better way to treat Alzheimer's disease, post-traumatic stress. So these are not the people that you want. These are the same people. Harvard University did so many mind control studies and pressured their students to do it. And one of those people was Ted Kaczynski. He was only like 15 or 16 when he was there. Then he went on to bomb, where was it, Boston? I forget, the Unabomber. That's Ted Kaczynski's known as the Unabomber. But that wasn't just one study Harvard did. Harvard's history is really just filled with nothing but negative stuff that they've done. So I would not trust any scientist or doctor that tells you, yeah, well, why don't we just put some electrons in your head? No, that just makes it easier for them to control you, because everything, all of their studies were based around was how can we best control people. So this is one of the biggest people that was involved with the CIA and the military-industrial complex way back in the day, and he is a psychiatrist, a Scottish-born psychiatrist. He is largely known for his central role in unethical medical experiment. His name's Donald Cameron, and development of psychological and medical torture techniques for the CIA. He served as president of the American Psychiatric Association, Canada Psychiatric Association, American Psychopathological Association, Society of Biological Psychiatry, and the World Psychiatric Association. Much was shaped by him and others, but here's a picture of him. Just looks like a nice old man, huh? Yeah. So, let me tell you a little bit about this man, because shocking. Cameron was involved in administering electroconvulsive therapy and experimental drugs, including poisons such as paralytics and hallucinogens, to patients and prisoners without their knowledge or informed consent. Some of this work took place in the context of Project MK Ultra program for developing mind control and torture techniques, psychoactive poisons, and behavior modification systems. So that's, a bunch of stuff came out with him. He was involved in the Manhattan Project as well, I believe. He wrote a book called Objective and Experimental Psychiatry, which introduced his belief that psychiatry should approach the study of human behavior in rigorous scientific fashion rooted in biology. Yeah, well, he certainly did a lot of everything he did was unethical. I'm not going to go, you can look him up. Again, Donald Cameron. He characterized diagnoses as syndromes emerging from the brain. I'm not going to go into all that. But he also believed that they were contagions, and that if you were around those people, that you would catch those mental disorders. Now, you could say, oh, well, that's what they thought back in the day, but it ends up going a little further than that, because he sort of seems like he was just a Nazi. Yeah, because it says here in 1945, Cameron, and then Nolan D.C. Lewis and Paul L. Schroeder, colonel and psychiatrist, University College of Illinois, were invited to the Nuremberg trials for a psychiatric evaluation of Rudolf Hess. Their diagnosis was amnesia and hysteria, per a short commentary in their Journal of the American Medical Association. Hess later confessed that he had faked the amnesia. Yeah, to get out of what they did to so many people, their experimentation. Before his arrival in Nuremberg, Cameron, this one, had written The Social Reorganization of Germany, yes, in which he argued that German culture and its individual citizens would have to be transformed and reorganized. In his analysis, German culture was made up of people who had the need for status, worshipped strict order and regimentation, desired authoritarian leadership, and had a deeply ingrained fear of other countries. The paper stated that German culture and its people would have offspring bound to be basically not controllable unless all of these, what his ideas were, strict regimens of authoritarian figures were in place. The paper stated that they would otherwise become a threat to world peace in 30 years. To prevent this, the West would have to take measures to reorganize German society. Other similar psychiatric diagnoses of Germany were published during this time. Cameron next published Nuremberg and its significance. In this, he hoped to establish a suitable method to reinstate a form of justice in Germany that could prevent its society from recreating the attitudes that led it from the Great War to World War II. Cameron viewed German society throughout history as continually giving rise to fearsome aggression. He came up with the idea that if he presented the world and confronted the Germans with the atrocities committed during the war, the world and Germans would refrain from repeated acts of extreme aggression. Well, he can't even recognize his own. This is what I mean. They have no insight, these experts. None. This is considered an expert. And look at all the experts going along with gender-affirming care on children from these associations that he headed up. Unbelievable. Cameron began to develop broader theories of society, new concepts of human relations to replace concepts he deemed dangerous and outdated. These became the basis of a new social and behavioral science that he would later institute through his presidencies of the Canadian, American, and World Psychiatric Associations. I'm going to do a follow-up video on him because there's just so much more to tell.